A moment in gaming that I'm proud of. It's a funny story. It's a Cash Cup story. Me and my duo Lucid were playing, and his cat stepped on the power switch of his PC. My name is Wacky Jackie.
What was your first game that you got into?
So how I started gaming as a kid, I played a lot of Tony Hawk on my GameCube, and I slowly fell out of that. I was very active as a kid. I was a pretty competitive golfer, so I was always outside. Between that, skating, and just being outside in the neighborhood, I didn't game as much. And then, fast forward to I don't know, maybe 22. My husband bought me a Nintendo Switch for Christmas, so I downloaded Zelda, and I just became completely addicted to that. So I was playing Zelda every single day as much as I could. And then when I beat it, I went into the Nintendo shop and I saw that there was Fortnite and it was free. And at the time I was like, oh my gosh, I got such a deal. I got a free game. And obviously it's a free game. I just didn't know that at the time. And then I texted one of my friends. I was like, I just downloaded Fortnite. She wanted to do the same thing. So her husband, and then my husband all became a squad, and we played a lot. They slowly fell out of it, and then I never stopped. I was playing solos a lot, and then at the time, my husband was like, "Why don't you just try streaming?" And he ended up talking me into doing that, and that's kind of where we're at now.
Oh, that's super cool. I love that. So your first game was Tony Hawk. Was that the first game that had a big impact on you, or was it a different game?
Yeah, I got addicted.
Yeah.
No, it was Tony Hawk.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just so fun. Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I was really into skateboarding as a kid. So if I wasn't skating, I would go home and I'd turn on the game.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the first game that really got me into gaming. But then Zelda really took it to the next level.
Okay. That's super cool. So what platforms do you usually play on? Are you a PC player, a console, or?
So platform-wise, I don't play on console anymore. I did for a little bit, but I switched over to PC maybe 2 years ago, and haven't really looked back.
So is it easier to play on a PC, or?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily easier or harder to play on a console or PC. Consoles realistically are optimized to give you the best gaming experience, period, where PCs are, not necessarily built for gaming. I mean, obviously there's gaming PCs, but it's not necessarily what it's optimized for. So with playing on PC, the big thing with me was that I have this keyboard joystick. I have a bunch over here. So it just looks like this. It's a Mac stick, and it basically replaces the need for WASD. So you could move with the joystick and aim with your mouse and, use the regular keybinds on a keyboard. That was a game changer, because prior to that, I was on console and I was using a gyro aim, which essentially, let's say this is your controller, you're moving your controller in order to aim, and that's it's not consistent. And I was pretty much capped at how good I could have been on that. So when I made the switch to PC, sorry, my gameplay definitely got better.
Oh, wow.
I got to a different level.
That's pretty cool. So how many hours a week do you spend gaming on average?
So on average, I probably game roughly 20, maybe a little bit more, 20, 25 hours a week. I still work, so there's a lot of streamers that are streaming 8 hours a day, playing 8 hours a day. I probably do 4 hours a day. Today was 2 hours, but on days that I play with subscribers, it's closer to 6 hour days. So yeah, probably 20 hours a week.
Okay. Cool. How would you describe your play style? Is it aggressive? Is it static? Is it supportive?
So my play style definitely depends on who I'm playing with, but 9 out of 10 times it's definitely more aggressive. I have a lot more fun being aggressive, although it gets me into trouble and maybe it doesn't help my win rate as much. It's just more fun, and I like the action. But if I'm, playing in a tournament or playing with a team and I need to be a little bit more supportive, I'll definitely hold back a little bit and try to play a little bit more strategic, make smarter decisions. But yeah, I definitely like a more aggressive play style.
Okay.
It's more fun in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just started playing Fortnite literally a few weeks ago.
Let's go.
Yeah, and I'm just I just like running towards the people and trying to get them, instead of them trying to chase me.
And you're gonna get better.
Yeah. So I'm just no, I'll just run after them and just,
Yeah.
So It's fun. It's a
You
fun
get
game.
as many, the more fights you get into, you're gonna get better because you're gonna get used to it. You're gonna get used to that pressure situation too.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
started
it's good.
streaming a little bit too, and of course, people are giving me
Let's go.
advice because they can tell that I'm kind of new at it, and they're just like, "Don't be scoping when you're in like a close range, whatever." And I'm just like, "Oh, okay." Like it's kind of just like a
Yeah.
habit because I feel like I can see better, but they're like, it takes more time to put your scope on and then get the person. So yeah,
W
yeah,
comes.
yeah. It's been fun though. It's a fun game. So
Yeah, it's addicting
yeah,
for
I could
sure.
play all day if I could, for sure. So what game do you think you're best at, and what makes you good at it?
So the game that I'm best at is definitely going to be Fortnite. I just play it so much. So it's what I'm used to. I mean, if I picked up Zelda, it would take me, a little while to remember all the keybinds because it's different with the controller, right? And especially just consoles between consoles, it's different. So your Switch is going to be different than your PS5. So I would say Fortnite, without a doubt, is my game.
I love that.
I play it too much, and I've been maining it for the last 2 years.
Have you ever competed in tournaments or like ranked matches?
So I've competed in tournaments. I've also compete in ranked. I didn't focus as much of ranked this season, but last season I put a pretty big focus on it. There's just been a lot of updates with the game this season that I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place. And then for a while I was doing the cash cups, which was a lot of fun. It was duo cash cups, so me and my duo Lucid Ghost would play every single. I think it was on Mondays. Yeah, the duos were on Mondays, and then solos was Wednesdays, and that was a lot of fun. But they took out cash cups. I think they're bringing it back, but they did take it out because of a lot of cheaters. And now there's a lot of community tournaments. There's tons of streamers that are hosting tournaments each week. I just played in one last night, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, I like the tournament play. It's a lot of fun. It's a different play style. It's more strategic. It's definitely more rewarding when you win. And it's just you have to work smart with your team. So that brings a different challenge to it. But yeah, in my opinion, the competing aspect is a little bit more rewarding.
What's the moment in gaming that you like are really proud of? Was there like a moment where you were like, yes?
Uh, a moment in gaming that I'm proud of. It's a funny story. It's a Cash Cup story. Me and my duo Lucid were playing, and his cat stepped on the power switch of his PC. So we're getting into end game, and his PC just shuts off. I thought his game froze for a second, so I'm still trying to gather comms from him. But his cat just completely griefed him and shut off his computer. So it was up to me, and there was like I think we were in a top six situation and I ended up clutching. We got the win. So that was a really cool moment because it was one of my first cash cups, and it was just cool to be able to clutch. He's always clutching for me.
Okay, I love that. That's awesome. So how do you handle losing or setbacks in the game?
I mean, handling losing in a game, everybody loses. It's Fortnite. You get one winner, so you're always going to lose. My quote is, "Win or lose, we still queue." Because either way, if you're going to win, you're queuing up, and if you're going to lose, you're queuing up. So try not to put that much pressure on it. It's a lot more fun otherwise.
How do you manage like mental health? Because sometimes social media can be kind of like a struggle, or like there's so many people like talking to you, and maybe there's some negative stuff that come with that. How do you handle that and keep your mental health in like a good state?
I mean, the balance with mental health and social media. I mean, I think social media is super toxic for the most part. I don't. I obviously I love it. It's part of my life, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of people coming at you. A lot of comments. Obviously, if you're live streaming, you have hundreds of people trying to talk to you pretty much at once. The big thing is just building a community that truly understands you and that supports you. I have a really supportive community, so they know when my mood's off. They know when somebody said something. If maybe they need to just give me a little moment, and they also understand if I need to take a step back and have a day off. They're totally there for it. So I think just surround yourself with the right people and know yourself. If you need to take a step back, take a step back. The internet's not going anywhere.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. So how has gaming influenced your life outside of the screen?
Gaming's influenced me outside of just being behind the screen. it just broadened my mind, I think, in a way, because I'm essentially building a brand. So never did I think that I was going to be creating designs for hoodies or t-shirts. It also allows me to have that competitive outlet. Like I said, I used to compete in golf and I don't anymore. So it gives me that competitive edge that I crave. But I think it just expands my mind a little bit, how to think creatively with content, how to think creatively with creating merch, collaborations with other streamers. I think it just broadens my mind.
Do you prefer solo games or multiplayer games, and why?
I prefer solo games. I don't know. I've always played solo. Like going back to Tony Hawk days, I was always solo. Going into Zelda, a solo game, and then Fortnite, you could play with squads, solos, trios, duos. And with stream, I definitely like solos just because you could talk to everybody. If I need to take 5 and sit in a bush and talk to chat, I could do that. If I want to play my own like speed, I could definitely do that. I could set that pace. I can make the right decisions or the wrong decisions, right? I can make stupid pushes and go for certain clips. It's just more my speed. I like it with solos, but don't get me wrong. I mean, every Wednesday I play with my squad, and it's a lot of fun. So it's definitely a balance, but I think I'm more solo leaning.
Okay. Have you built any strong friendships through gaming? Kind of sounds like you have, huh?
Yeah, so I've built a lot of friendships through gaming. I have an awesome community. We have hundreds of people in Discord. We have just a great group of people that come into chat each day that are always showing up and bringing great vibes. But then I also have my streaming friends. I play with a group every single Wednesday, Dominic James and AKA Kiffer. And then, like I said, my duo that I've always played in Cash Cups, Lucid Ghost, we're always playing together, especially in ranked. And then on on Sundays, we do sub games and I'm playing all day. And like I said, the people that I've created this community with are my friends at the end of the day. I share my highs, my lows with them. So I've made tons of connections that I never thought I would actually do. I mean, going into streaming, I was like, maybe I'll remember, a couple usernames that come back and forth. I was just ignorant to thinking that I could truly make friends, and I'm making friends in different countries, in different time zones, and it's true. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, you never know who you're gonna meet online, and like friendships that come through online is kind of it's weird, but it's like it's cool because you're like I met you online,
awesome.
man. Like that's cool.
Yeah, you meet like your like personality doppelgangers out there.
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't know that somebody in a totally different time zone was just like
Yeah.
me. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's super cool. That's awesome. So what's your opinion on toxicity online gaming communities?
Toxicity with online gaming communities is ridiculous, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all human. We have the same exact fears. We have the same feelings. And if you're going to be negative to somebody, there's no business. You have no business doing that. I think that we're all human, and to put somebody on a pedestal or try to take somebody down, tear them down, I don't know. Toxicity in the gaming community is always going to be there. There's always going to be egos. I just want nothing to do with it. I'll always stay out of it, and exclude myself. And yeah, it's not for me.
Mm-hmm. Do you think gaming can be forced for good in society? Why or why not?
Gaming can absolutely be forced for good in society. There's so many people that I have met that have, just through the community, right, that have such a positive impact. People that were struggling with depression, that didn't have anybody to talk to, and now they've made multiple friends that they could hang out with on a daily basis, that they're able to game with. And even if they're not gaming, they're able to text or just chat in Discord or wherever they're chatting and have somebody to talk to. Gaming could 110% be a positive for really anybody. I mean, I have people of all different walks of life in my Discord, from corporate people to blue collar to, just total opposite walks of life. And at the end of the day, we have one really big thing in common, and that's gaming and Fortnite.
What inspired you to start streaming or making gaming content?
So what inspired me to start streaming was really my husband. At the time, I needed to consume Fortnite in every which way, right? I was playing solos, and then when I was done with solos, I was tuning in to B-Harp to watch his nightly stream at like 8 at night. And then the next day, I would start work, and I would put on Ninja. And then Ninja would end around 11, and I'd throw on Ruthless Cat. And I'd watch him until the workday was over. And then I'd start playing video games, and I'd do solos. And then the cycle continued. And so he was like, why don't you just do this? And I was like, well, I'm not good. So there's that. And then he did explain to me, it's like, it's not all about winning. It's about building a community and just having people to hang out with. And yeah, winning is cool, but it's not everything at the end of the day. And so he ended up talking me into it, and I ended up falling in love with it right away, right off the bat. I met really cool people. I thought everybody was gonna be really rude, misogynistic, and just mean. And I get that every once in a while. Don't get me wrong, but I really don't experience as much as I expected to. So I expected the way worse, and I received a heck of a lot better.
How do you deal with trolls or negativity in the chat?
So trolls and negativity in the chat, it depends. It honestly depends on my mood, because there's some days where somebody comes in, says something nasty, and I just go right back at them. And then there's other days where I'm like, you don't need to do that. Like, you don't have to have that much hate in your heart. Like, I try to always spin a positive either way, and try to, lighten the mood and tell them, like, you don't have to be that angry. What are you doing, right? You're just going into TikToks, you're doom scrolling to find each live just to make fun of somebody. It's sad at the end of the day. So it depends on my mood that day. I'm either going to try to, tell them, listen, this isn't how we approach people. This isn't like human one-on-one behavior. Or I kind of double down and troll back. But after the troll back, I do try to, and it's funny because when I do troll back, they end up being like lifetime hanger outers. So it's pretty funny. One kid, for example, I had a title on my TikTok that says solos come vibe, whatever it was. And he was like, can I play? And I was like, there is actually a title right there that says solos come vibe. And he was like, okay, well, since you're being sarcastic, he said whatever, and started going in. And so I started getting a little sarcastic back at him. And then the next day, I still had the solos title up, and I was playing duos. And he goes, oh, so I guess we're still playing solos. And next thing I know, we were going back and forth again, and he's been in chat almost every day. So I don't know. Trolls are trolls. You just either have to kill them with kindness or troll back.
Yeah.
And see where it takes you.
Yeah, I agree. I've gone live on TikTok and stuff like that, and the trolls are always going to be there. And sometimes I'll talk to them back and tell them that they're not being nice, or just ignore them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're usually looking for attention. They're just.
Oh yeah, that's it. They don't have anything at home, and that's why it's sad, right?
Yeah.
So they may not have. They're looking for something, right? And maybe they're getting bullied at home. So that's another reason why I try to kill them with kindness, because it's a teachable moment, right? You don't have to go into somebody's stream and tell them they're terrible at the game or tell them whatever. You could straight up just be like, hey, how's your day? How about we start with that, right?
Yeah.
And then see where it takes you.
Yeah.
So it is really a teachable moment.
So what's your setup like, and what is your favorite piece of equipment or gear?
So my setup is pretty neat. I have 3 monitors, one for TikTok and OBS and my voice mixer, or really voice meter, one for Twitch because I main Twitch. So I have a vertical monitor that is just straight up a lot of Twitch screen. That's it. And then my gameplay. So I have my game monitor here. I have a 2 PC setup. I have a stream PC and a game PC. So the game PC just focuses on the game itself, which is really handy when I'm doing cash cups or tournament play. And my favorite piece is my Mac stick. It changed my game. So little plug there. But like I said, it's a joystick that just slides right underneath your keyboard.
Oh.
And so it replaces the need for WASD, and it frees up 4 keybinds. So in my head, it's a lot easier for me to compute that I don't have to use those 4 keybinds. I could just focus on my guns and my movement and if I want to run or slide. And then mouse for obviously aim. So that Mac stick took me from not being able to basically function on mouse and keyboard to actually, being able to compete at a relatively decent level.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've used these headphones. I bought them when I first started streaming, and they're easily the best headphones ever. I had another streamer recommend, I don't know what these are, but he recommended these like in-ear headphones. They're horrible, like horrible.
Oh yeah.
I bought them because I had a costume tournament.
Yeah.
And I couldn't use the headphones over the head, so I needed to have in-ear headphones. And I was like, there's no way this is it. I was freaking out. I was like, it's so bad. It sounds like only treble. Like there's no bass. It was so bad.
Oh,
So I will never
jeez.
switch headphones. Plus they're super comfy. I can wear them all day. They're my favorite. I talk about them nonstop on stream.
Yeah.
They're really good quality.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. So which games get the best reaction from your audience?
I would say solos, right? Probably get the best reactions. I don't know actually. It could be the squad mode because I get pretty goofy there.
Yeah.
So
No, yeah, I was listening in on your live and I'm just like, you guys are funny. Just a bunch of goofballs. I love that.
yeah.
So what trends in gaming are you most excited about right now?
The big one is streamer versus streamer content, which I'm not huge in. I don't know. I like the tutorials because a lot of people in my community are people that maybe parents that are a little bit older that are just getting into the game because their kids are into the game. So I like the tutorial part because people get a lot out of it. So I think that's what I trend most towards.
Yeah, that's one thing that we really liked about you is you're teaching people how to play. And you're like, this is how
Yeah,
you can do this. And, I looked at some of your stuff too. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So
makes sense.
yeah,
Checks
yeah,
out.
right.
Yeah.
So education is always good content, especially for somebody like me who's just like fairly new.
Oh yeah. I have so many moms in here that just got in because their, 8-year-old, 6-year-old want to play and they have no idea. And I'm like, okay, well this is important. Stay behind a rock before you take shots or use the storm circle to your advantage. And like, wow, that makes so much sense. But like you're in the middle of a game. There's so many moving parts. There's so many things that are happening. You're not really thinking like in the moment, oh, I need to do this. But if you watch somebody that's better than you, you could be like, oh, he takes shots behind rocks. That makes so much sense. Like, duh, why didn't I think of that? Right? So it's a lot easier to consume how to get better just by watching somebody that's better than you. And I could attest to that. That's all I did. I loved consuming the Fortnite. Loved watching stream.
Yeah. So is there a game that you're really looking forward to?
Not really.
Really?
Is that bad to say?
No, it's not.
I just play Fort. I mean, maybe GTA, but I've never played it, so I can't even say that.
Oh, okay,
Like,
yeah.
but that is coming out. Everybody talks about it, so that's the only reason I know about it.
Yeah, people are talking about that right now for sure.
Yeah.
So how do you think gaming will evolve in the next 5 to 10 years?
Gaming in the next 5 to 10 years, I think, is going to be huge. A lot of people, especially in TikTok comments or YouTube comments, will be like, streamers are ruining the game, and I get that to an extent because like it's so focused on being the best. I'm the number one sniper. I'm the number one girl Fortnite streamer. I'm the number one builder. I'm the number one this. There's a lot of like competitiveness there, but there's a whole nother niche market of streamers that are just here for good vibes. And are here for educational purposes to help other people that are new to the game and whatnot. But I think at the end of the day, where media is going, I think everybody's going to be focused on live streaming because it's real, it's raw. Like, I don't put on TV shows anymore. We watched Peacemaker last night, which was fine. It was just, it was on. But I'm typically watching something like a stream. I want to see a live reaction. I want to see that raw footage, and I want to see how people like are like, right? So it's more of a human connection in a way. So I think just going live is going to be huge in the next 5 to 10 years, just in terms of where media is going, right? I think we've all been kind of exhausted by media and social media, fake stuff, right? Fake skits on social media, all this, just terrible stuff all over the internet at the end of the day, without giving too much away, that you just kind of want to relax and see somebody in their raw form. And live streaming is going to be, I think, where everything's going.
Yeah, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Is there a genre of game type you'd love to see more of?
The genre of game type I'd probably like to see more of would be what I started with Tony Hawk and Zelda. There are streamers out there, don't get me wrong. I just don't consume it as much. So I think I would probably like to see that, especially there's times where I just want to chill, right? And I don't necessarily want to watch somebody attack a boss 10 games in a row, because it could be really overstimulating with Fortnite, where it's just very loud noises, bugs screaming in your ear or bosses screaming in your ear and guns blasting. That being able to kind of decompress with a little bit of Zelda or just skating would be, a nice change.
Yeah, for sure. So if you could create a dream game, what would that look like?
A dream game. So if I could create a dream game, it would be a mix between Zelda and Fortnite. It would be open world. I do like Battle Royale, so I feel like I would stick with that, but I don't know in the next 5 to 10 years if Battle Royale is going to be, top king, top dog. But I loved Zelda. I loved how open world it was. I loved how you can go to, like, I forget the names of the places at this point, but you can go anywhere on the map. If you wanted to fish, you could fish. If you wanted to, like, hunt, you could hunt. It was a really cool game. And that was Breath of the Wild. So I would make it a mix between Zelda and Fortnite for sure.
So if you could be any video game character, who would you be and why?
If I could pick any video game character, I'd probably be Amplitude from Fortnite, just because I feel like her style is really cool and I could pull it off. So we'll go with that.
Okay. What's one game you think is overrated or underrated?
I think one game that I think is underrated is NHL. It's a lot of fun. I watch my husband play it a lot. You could do 3s, 5s. You can get to know the game a lot better if you're not that big in hockey. You could bring somebody for, it's like you have pro-am campaigns, and I don't see a lot of streamers playing it. There's definitely a few, don't get me wrong, but I would like to see more of it. It's just a really cool game, and I'm a big hockey fan.
Yeah.
Overrated is Fortnite, but I love it. I love Fortnite, and I want it to be overrated.
Right. So what game would you recommend to someone who's never played before?
If you've never played a game before and you want to ease into it, I love Breath of the Wild. I think it's one of the prettiest and best video games. But if you want a little bit more high action, you got to do Fortnite. It's a blast. And you could play it. There's so many mini games in Fortnite if you don't want to do the whole battle royale thing, but there's so many things that you could play to get better. There's aim trainers, right? But just the game in general, I think the map is beautiful. Winning isn't everything. You could just have fun and troll with your friends. So yeah, Fortnite.
Love that.
Fortnite.
Yeah, right. How do you measure success in streaming, like with your long-term goals and short-term goals?
Measuring success with streaming, I mean, it's a little bit different for me. I just want to have fun. I'd never want this to turn into a job, because at that point I'm just going to be putting too much pressure on it, and I'll probably grow to hate it. Just like anything, like if you're a good cook and you open a kitchen, you're going to hate cooking. That's just how things work out. So measuring success, like at the beginning, I would compare myself to a lot of streamers, and it was so dumb, and it sucked a lot of the joy out of it. So at this point, I really just focus success around, did I have fun today? And that's really all that matters. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely. That's our number one rule in our business is if we're not having fun, there's something wrong.
You're failing.
Yeah, we're failing.
Yeah.
There's something off. The energy's off, or something is wrong. So needs to be a reset at that point, and we need to have fun again, because otherwise, you get burnt out, and it's never good to be burnt out, obviously.
No, especially for a video game, you're supposed to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, gaming is fun. It's a there's a lot of chill people in the community and stuff. So, yeah, I've been enjoying gaming. I think about it all the time. I don't have time to play all the time, but I'm just like, I really just want to play.
I could be playing right now.
Yeah. It's just I do think about it a lot. Well, that is all we have for you today, and you did amazing.
Cool. Well, you have a good rest of your day. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you.